I understand what you're saying, Auron. I'll find a way to break the cycle. Trust me, I'll think of something.
Auron heard a friend swear he would find a way. That promise turned him into sin, and the cycle kept devouring the world. So Auron stayed behind, dead, sustained by a will that would not break, carrying a promise no one else remembered. This is a story of a silence that lasted 10 years, and the moment that silence finally ended. At the end of Braska's pilgrimage, Auron finally understood what the final summoning really meant. Sin doesn't end. Sin returns. The calm is only a pause. And if they go through with it, their deaths will mean nothing. He said it to their faces, not as philosophy, as a warning. And Jecht answered, not with doctrine, not with comfort, with a vow. He would find a way to break the cycle. That line matters because Jecht is already standing at the edge of becoming the final Aeon, already accepting the price, already walking into the machine that turns a man into sin. That's the origin of everything that comes after. Auron's silence, Auron's patience, Auron's refusal to move on. Because once Jecht becomes sin, the promise doesn't die. It becomes heavier, and someone has to carry it long enough for it to matter.
There's something you should know.
I know. It's about you, right?
I am also an unsent. You are not surprised.
I think I kinda knew. It was Yunalesca, wasn't it?
Auron was mortally wounded at ZANARKAND's dome. Yunalesca struck him down because he refused to accept what she represented. A world that survives by feeding the same sacrifice back into itself. He dragged himself down the mountain, but his will would not break. He stayed, becoming unsent through sheer refusal. But staying wasn't the point. Carrying the promise was. Jecht had sworn he would find a way. Then Jecht became sin. And once that happened, Auron understood something terrifying. If Jecht was the core of sin, then sin was not only a monster, it was a bridge. Auron says it plainly later, no metaphor, no mysticism. Being dead has its advantages. He was able to ride sin and go to Tidus's ZANARKAND. He uses the only entity in Spira that crosses boundaries, sin itself, to reach the one person Jecht left behind. And once he's there, Auron does what he always does. He waits. He watches. He says almost nothing. Because if this promise is real, it needs a moment, one moment, where the cycle can be challenged, not repeated. Then sin reaches Dream ZANARKAND, not as a random catastrophe, but as a deliberate crossing. Jecht brings sin there, and Auron is already waiting. This is not destruction, it is alignment. The promise, the carrier, and the one who must be taken out of the dream, finally in the same place.
You are sure? This is it. to him. It all begins here.
From the moment Auron joins the pilgrimage, he knows the end of the story. He knows what sin is. He knows what must happen to stop it. And he knows what Tidus will lose when that truth is revealed. That is why Auron says almost nothing. His silence is not mystery. It is restraint. Auron has already seen what blind faith does to people. He has watched summoners walk toward death, believing it was salvation. He has seen truth spoken too early turn into despair instead of resolve. So he waits. He lets Tidus believe the journey has meaning before burdening him with its cost. He lets Yuna walk her path without shattering her strength. Every time Auron withholds the truth, it is deliberate. Not to deceive, but to prevent collapse before the moment arrives. Because a promise like Jecht's cannot be forced. It has to be reached. And Auron understands something no one else does. The truth does not save people. So he walks beside them in silence, watching, enduring, waiting for the one moment when words will finally matter. And when that moment comes, Auron does not hesitate.
Let me be your liberator.
Now! This is it! Now is the time to choose. Die and be free of pain, or live and fight your sorrow. Now is the time to shape your stories. Your fate is in your hands.
Jecht promised he would find a way, even knowing that becoming the final Aeon meant losing himself, even knowing that sin would erase his name and wear his body as a shell. And inside sin, that promise never fully broke. That is why the final conversation matters. When Tidus finally reaches Jecht, he doesn't find a monster begging for release. He finds a man who has been holding on long enough. Jecht resists until the moment resistance is no longer needed, until the promise has somewhere to land. And standing there, watching all of this unfold, is Auron. Not as a hero, not as a martyr, but as the one who never let the promise be forgotten. Auron didn't defeat sin. He didn't break the world. He didn't save Spira by himself. He simply made sure that when the time came, the promise was still alive. And that was enough to let the world move forward.
This is your world now.